Story 1. 10. 5K. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by U. Epic Sausage 69. 14 hours ago. 2. 3. 2. 2. Only do what is in my job title. Fine. Good luck paying employees. XLOC. So, I work for a construction company as an inventory admin. My job is to basically schedule counts of our warehouse and input the numbers they give me for inventory. Then try to see what the problem is when the numbers on the last count and current count don't add up. There is a little bit more to it, but I will not bore you with the specifics. The problem with this job is that when you have been doing it long enough and are good at it, there is less work to do. In the beginning, when counting one rack out of 60 racks of material would take a few days, it was fine because I was always busy. But now that everything is in order, the entire warehouse can be counted in 3 days. This leaves me bored for most of the time. So, to fix this, I studied up on our cloud-based ERP service that we use for all internal and external transactions and have become sort of an expert on it. Every single aspect of this company uses this ERP service to do the job. Timesheets, HR, payroll, accounting, scheduling, management, manufacturing, ordering from vendors, delivering, inventory, etc. all runs through this ERP service. So it is very important that this service is up and running perfectly 24/7. I became so proficient in this service that our VP decided to cut ties with our consultants of the ERP because I could do what they did but better, quicker, and much cheaper. For reference, we were paying these consultants $5,000 a month just to be on standby if we needed them for some sort of problem that could arise from using this ERP and had to dish out more money to fix those problems depending on how many hours of their time was spent to fix said problems. Not sure on their exact rate, but it was something like $200 an hour, and they took weeks to fix anything, while I could fix the problem in time for my daily afternoon shit break. I never got an official job title or raise of any kind for being an expert on this service. The company just saw me being able to do it and let me fix things that happened, so they no longer needed the outside help. I wasn't upset because it gave me something to do, so I was glad to help the company save money, even if none of that money fell my way. Skip ahead a few months. We now have a new warehouse manager, and someone in the warehouse fucks something up in inventory by sending a bunch of materials to the wrong job with no records of it being shipped. We are talking $500,000 fuck up here. In the same day, our ERP had an update that caused a bunch of bugs with our accounting department. So, I decide to work on the ERP problem first because the warehouse fuck up is more of a delay fuck up and not actually stopping anybody from doing their job at the moment. While this accounting problem means our bills are not able to be paid. You can guess what kind of issues we will have if bills are not paid. The ERP bugs turn out to be quite big and numerous, so it ends up taking me a couple days to figure out. But I fix it before any bills are actually due and decided to take lunch a little early to celebrate a victory. Crisis averted. New warehouse manager storms into my office after I get back from lunch and is livid. Apparently, the bosses were pinning the blame on him for the warehouse fuck up. And considering he is the one who oversees shipments and personnel in the warehouse, the blame is rightfully placed. He starts laying into me, asking why I have not fixed the problem yet, yelling and screaming like a child. I tried explaining that I was fixing an ERP issue and have not had time to look at the warehouse problem yet. He gets even more angry and notes that it is funny how I have time to take early lunches, but not do my job. That started to piss me off, but I held my tongue and kept calm about the situation. He then ordered me to only do what is in my job title and to leave the ERP bullshit to the people competent enough to handle it, as he put it. Since this guy was technically my supervisor, I had no choice but to obey. I asked him to send me that in writing and he snarks and storms back into his office. 5 minutes later, I get an email stating that under no circumstances am I to work on anything related to ERP unless it involves inventory. QMC. When I show up to work, I see the entire warehouse staff of 50 people walking out of the front door. I stopped one and asked why they are leaving, and they replied with, "I didn't get paid today. Sir, I am not coming back until I do." I go into the office and see the warehouse manager in a panic. He has jobs that need material and nobody to load it onto trucks or deliver. I ask him if he needs help with anything and he just screams at me to leave his office because he is getting phone calls out the ass from superintendents of jobs asking why our material has not arrived yet. I pass by HR on the way to my office and see a bunch of the bosses huddled up over her computer with her with angry and confused expressions on their face. I guess trying to figure out the problem. I felt bad for her because it really was something out of her control. But I knew she would ultimately be okay because she had been there for so long that they would never fire her. When I get to my office, I see the VP waiting for me there. He has a very pissed off expression on his face. When we get inside, he demands to know why I did not fix the problem in HR when she emailed me about it. I replied that I am no longer allowed to work on ERP problems as it is not in my job title. He has the most shocked look on his face and asked why all of a sudden I had a change of heart. I show him the email from warehouse manager and I could see the dots connect in his head. He immediately storms out, and I see him heading straight to the warehouse manager's office. They were in there for a few hours, but eventually he comes back to my office. He seems calmer now and asks me politely if I can fix the problem in HR and if I can resume fixing the ERP if needed. At this point I liked the relief of responsibility and told him I would only do it if he put it officially in my job title along with a raise. His calmness turned to anger again and he says, "I cannot believe you," as he storms out and returns to his office. A few hours later, he sends out a mass email that he has hired the old ERP consultants to fix the problem and that next week, everyone would be paid for the money they are owed, along with the money they earned if they return to work. This one surprised me as he would rather pay over $60,000 a year to consultants than give me a few extra bucks an hour for better work. I think he expected me to change my mind and just do it for my own paycheck, but I decided to wait because I knew how these consultants were and if they managed to fix this problem in a week, I would streak naked through the office. Most of the warehouse staff agreed to return, but were still upset about not getting paid. Sure enough, next Friday comes around. Nobody gets paid again. At this point it is becoming a real problem and the entire staff is becoming agitated. They have bills to pay. I even heard a bunch of the warehouse talking about some competitors nearby they could go work for. At this point, I even considered just fixing the problem because the warehouse didn't deserve to be treated like that due to poor management. Maybe I am the asshole here for this, but I am severely underpaid and can barely afford my apartment. There is no reason I should do extra work for free. That same day, the VP returns to my office and hands me papers. These papers said that I would be promoted to a newly created position that dealt with inventory, ERP upkeep. It would be its own department and he would be my direct supervisor. Also came with a hefty raise. All I had to do was sign and agree. I looked up at him after reading the paper and he had the saddest look on his face. "Please just sign it." The consultants said it would take them weeks to get around to fixing it due to the high volume of clients they have taken on and we cannot keep skipping paychecks. Quote, I happily signed it and immediately got to work on the HR issue. Managed to even fix it that same day. It was just a simple problem with the permissions of HR and payroll in the ERP due to the update. TLDR. I was doing work outside my job title. Supervisor gets mad and tells me no. I stop and company is unable to pay employees for 2 weeks. Vice President finally caves in and gives me promotion to do said work outside my job title along with a raise. 498 comments. Award. Share. Save. 816 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 2. $vote. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by Jeffrey_Friedel. 4 hours ago. We must use our initials as our username. Okay. Fine. Sock. When I started graduate school in computer science in the late 80s. Back when there was one monolithic mainframe that everyone had accounts on. I requested the username jfriedl, as id had that on every system id ever been on. The sysadmin, who was master of his tiny domain, seemed to take great pleasure in denying my request, citing policy that people use their initials. Everyone had 3-letter usernames, from the dean down to the sysadmin, down to the lowest student. Fine. If your policy is that people use their initials, my username should be Jeff, as my legal name is Jeffrey Eric Francis Friedel. Forced malicious compliance. You could tell he was positively fuming inside. But he had no choice but to comply with the policy. I had the only username that not only wasn't 3-character line noise. It was my name. Open mouth smile. Edit. Actually, if there were 2 people with the same initials, the late arrival would get a 2 tacked on. E.g. if Jordan Edward Flumy Flinkmaster showed up while I was still there. Head get Jeff 2. 66 comments. Award. Share. Save. 193 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 3. $837. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by Calm Nectarine 1766. 11 hours ago. Want me at work on time? Of course. Sock. At my previous job, I always arrived about 10 to 15 minutes early to get settled in and get my computer up and running. Get logged into all my mail and accounts. Pull up all my tabs and whatnot. It took my computer about 10 minutes or so to boot up and get up to speed. One morning I arrive at work about 5 minutes early instead of my usual 10 minutes. I guess I scuttled up the stairs to make sure I was up and running by 8. That is, to make sure I'm in the desk with my computer on at 7:55 at the latest. Not 10 minutes later. My boss, not my direct supervisor, comes over and says he saw he jogging through the parking lot. He asked me, in that underhanded confrontational way when one knows the answer already, if I was late that morning. I explained just as I have in this post. He says, "Oh. Okay. And that's that." I look at the clock. It's like 8:02. I think to myself, oh. So that's what kind of person you are. Got it. Quote. If you want me to arrive on time, I will. From then on, I go about my business. Still arriving at the usual time, 7:50 or so. But instead of setting up, I just set my stuff down and, oh, what a nice morning outside. I think I might take a little walk around the office park for 10 minutes or so. Maybe I might go down to the lobby and get a cup of coffee or something. Maybe I might sit at my desk on my phone. After all, it's not technically business hours yet. Right. Then, at exactly 8, I'll turn everything on and let my computer spend the next 10 minutes booting up and get logged in. I did the math. 2 minutes late would have costed the company 63 cents. I continued to work there for 6 more months before I got a better, salaried, job elsewhere. Doing the same thing every morning. 10 minutes a day. 5 times a week. For 6 months. That's over $400. Not a lot of money. Really. But a hell of a lot more than 63 cents. 77 comments. Award. Share. Save. 106 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 4. $374. Malicious Compliance. Posted by Aero the Observer. 9 hours ago. A quarter tank. Lock. So, a while ago, I posted a story about I.B. Nickled and their nonsense. So let's go back a bit further now to another story from my first trucking job. In my first 6 months as a trucker, the company I worked for was infamous because every new guy lasts about 90 days. This story is about that company and what got one of my managers fired. All because of a simple request to be fueled on a short-haul load. This load was dog food coming over from Sparks, NV, and dropping at a distribution hub in Sacramento, CA. My last load had been dropped a couple days before and I'd been sitting there waiting because I'd requested home time. I lived in San Bernardino County, CA at the time. So yeah. Already in a bad mood from that since it killed my vacation days I'd saved up from that time. Lots of stories from this company. But I'll move on since this story is about me getting my payback on the guy. So, I've been sitting for a couple days. It's late August. So it's been hot and I've been running my rig for AC at night. I finally get my dog food load and notice that it doesn't have a fuel stop. The pickup is in 30, so I shoot a message over the Qualcomm unit to ask for a fuel stop. Due to this being a short-haul load, less than 200 miles, you will not be assigned fuel for this load. Cool. My gauge is on 1/4. But I'm sure they know that. Right. I shoot them that info just to be sure. And get no response while I'm picking up my load and getting ready to leave. Finally, I call my manager. Note. It's been approximately 10 years since then. So apologies for not having the conversation perfectly memorized. Closing parenthesis. Hey, boss. You know I'm heading into Cali, right? I asked. I need a fuel solution. You're good, dude. Just get this load done and we can get you fuel. He was, annoyingly as ever, ignoring my concerns. That's just it. I'm in Nevada at the moment. As soon as I get to California the price will jump. I tried explaining. It's only $2.50 over here. But my uncle said it was nearly $5 in Sacramento right now. You just get rolling. I'll figure something out if it's really bad. Well, I tried. And I was feeling particularly mad after the fiasco with my home days. So, I set off. Doing some mental math. I was loaded pretty heavy and going over one of the more annoying passes in the US. If you've done Donna, you know. I get up to the top of the pass just fine. Still a bit over 1/8 left. 200 gallons worth of tank. So approximately 20 gallons. At an expected 9 miles to the gallon on the downhill with Jakes at full. Let's do this. Sure enough, I roll down the mountain with just enough gas to get me to my drop on Sacramento's harbor. Then have down to the yard just enough gas to get to the 49 truck stop. The only spot my company had for fuel at the time in the area. My engine cuts in and out as I pull into the island. My manager is on for another 5 minutes or so. So I give him a call. Hey. Just got to the truck stop and my rig is running on fumes. Can I get some fuel? He was rushed and annoyed since he wanted to get home. Just like I wanted at this point. I still didn't expect what I got. Yeah. Just fill up. You're authorized for 220 gallons, so you can get the reefer too if you have a trailer. And with that, he hung up. For those who don't know, August 2012 saw prices through most of California going back up to just over $4 a gallon. The 49er, who had somewhat of a monopoly because they were absolutely massive and the only major brand out there from what I knew at the time, were charging $6.50 or so per gallon. It'd just been given carte blanche for a full tank. I still remember the gallons and price readout. 203. 89 gal, $1. 309. 55. Yep. 1300 on a fill-up that normally cost about 400 on the extreme high end in the rest of the country. Aero. What the fuck is this fuel bill? Pull the Qualcomm messages. And the call log from last night. I replied before hanging up and falling back asleep. When the sun was up, I had a message on my Qualcomm from my manager's manager, along with a new route directly to my home terminal. My manager had been fired, and they wanted to see me in person to figure out just what was going on. I got there, and after a couple of meetings, they gave me a week off and transferred me to relief, recovery. I have some horror stories from that, but those are for another time. For that day, I had just won against the single most annoying boss I'd ever known, and had finally gotten myself a bit of time with my parents and brother, which was good enough for me. Let me know if there are any typos. I'm on mobile and can't really edit this stuff. Also, I listen to YouTube, and don't mind y'all using my stories. But if you'd kindly at least ask first and shoot me a message with a link, I'd appreciate it. I'm not saying don't post the videos. I'm saying ask, and ye shall receive. Closing square bracket. 16 comments. Award. Share. Save. 44 people here. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on.